Hello and welcome to the March 23rd, 2025 episode of Nick's News. I am your host, Nick, brought to you by Some Budget Studios. That's right, we're putting money into this project of ours. We thank you so much for tuning in or catching the replay live on our YouTube page or the replay on the Facebook page. That's right, we are only going to be live on YouTube on every Sunday. This is a program dedicated to bringing good news to counter all of the bad news that we are bombarded with on a daily basis to bring a bit of joy back into the world. Several of our articles are pulled from sites like goodnewsnetwork.org and goodgoodgood.co, but we appreciate everything sent in by you, the viewers. The intro is going to take a little bit. I was rehearsing it a bit earlier, but it's definitely going to take a little bit to stick that we're just doing the YouTube streaming because Facebook let us down. So, hello, Christian. Hello, Joseph. Good to see everybody making the jump over to YouTube as opposed to keeping an eye out for us on Facebook. We'll talk a little bit about that when we get into the shout-outs. But for now, we're going to start with our news brew. And our news brew this week, if you took a look at our Instagram, because that's where I post the news brews early, is J.W. Lee's limited edition Harvest Ale. And we'll let the camera... There we go, buddy. So this is an 11.5% ABV barley wine that's matured in sherry casks. I've caught some flack from barley wine over the years, and when I was visiting friends and I found a couple of these bottles, one of them in particular over in Chicago just laid into me about barley wine, but rightfully so because it's a diabolical substance. But we'll see how this one performs. So because it is a barley wine, the limited edition Harpoon Snifter, and because it's a bottle, the Balisong bottle opener. Hello, Dirty Rogue and Cassidy in the chat. Great to see you both. So, let's crack this open and blow the gain on my audio. There we go. Ooh. And we'll get into the theatrics of a however many second pour. The wonderful glug glug of barley wine. Beautiful kind of toffee color with a little bit of red. And we'll get all the trub in there. That's right, sometimes you get some sediment with barley wines. Hello, Yathena. So we'll bring that forward and you can see, yeah, it's got a bit of solids in it, but most harvest ales, barley wines will. It's just what comes out of solution, basically. It's leftover yeast and such from the fermenting process, so don't be alarmed by it. If you have a barley wine and you see some sediment in it, don't be alarmed. It's not going to kill you. Shout-outs. So, yes, barley wine, says Dirty Rogue. So, as we stated, many thanks to all of you that have come with us from Facebook to YouTube. It means so much that y'all were willing to make the jump with us. We have been hosting video on Facebook and live streams on Facebook since 2016. But because of Facebook's continued failure to basically support creators, they let us down. So we're not going to be using them anymore. It's so much better to be using just YouTube and taking full advantage of the hardware we have, because YouTube lets us use our camera, our brand new computer rig, basically everything that we want to run to full potential, whereas Facebook really stifled a lot of it. So we're really excited, and we can't thank you all enough for making the jump with us. So to all of our Nick's Newsies, cheers. Hey, Julie. Hey, Tim. Wow. Wow. All right, it's only 11.5%. I say only 11.5%, but man, is that an aggressive beer. Or maybe I'm just a little weak sauce. I was doing karaoke on Saturday for Nick's Newsie Julie's birthday, and my voice is trashed. So maybe this beer is just coating. It's like when you put rubbing alcohol on a wound. All right. Next shout out. Silent Stars LARP is putting on its first big event. You can join them on March 30th for their Market Festival. It's going to be a two-part event with a medieval fantasy-themed craft fair from 12:30 to 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then a ticketed in-character event with food, games, prizes, and lots of role play. Tickets are $30 if you pay ahead and $40 at the door on a limited basis. If you want to join, you can register at a link that's in the description. It's a Google Doc link. The link has the information on how to pay for your ticket as well, but be aware that the prepay, that $30 prepay price, is ending as of today. So if you haven't signed up yet and you want to experience a really cool LARP, like a LARP event with a brand new LARP, check out Silent Stars. To them, cheers. We have several Nick's Newsies that are a part of the Silent Stars LARP. Nick's Newsie Julie is going to be there getting her pirate on. And Cassidy is one of the staff members, one of the founders of this LARP. And she just wanted to remind us in the chat that the craft fair is free. The paid entry is for the actual role play event afterwards. The craft fair is going to be entirely free. It's going to be awesome. Check out that link in the description. We want to do our next shout out is a congratulations to our graphics guru Grayson, or Graphics by Ashford, and to Nick's Newsie Travis. Both of them have been accepted into college. As a non-traditional myself, I can't commend them enough on that initiative and getting in and going for their college degrees. So to Graphics by Ashford, Grayson, our art guru, and Nick's Newsie Travis, cheers and good luck to you both. Yathena is going to be there. Hello, Charlie. Oh, man. I can just feel my voice is trash. But the camera looks stunning. I have it cranked up now that we're just going to YouTube, and it looks good, so I think I like this just YouTube thing. Last shout out is a happy birthday to Nick's Newsie Mark. Mark, happy birthday to you. Cheers. Dirty Rogue will also be there. And Charlie is saying, I sound fine. Thank you very much, Charlie. I may sound fine, but I don't feel it. News quote. We're here for a reason. I believe a bit of the reason is to throw little torches out to lead people through the dark. We're here for a reason. I believe a bit of the reason is to throw little torches to lead people out of or through the dark. That is a quote. Oh, I'm going to have to fix that in post. I just noticed I had a typo, but I'll fix it later. So that's from Karen Elaine Johnson, who's actually better known as Whoopi Goldberg. She's an American actor, comedian, author, and a television personality. And I feel like that quote is just a really good one for the times. Those of us who are trying to spread good news or joy, basically just trying to be good, what we do is we light the path for everyone else. When we have the opportunity to be able to stand on our own, we feel that prerogative to help others. So we're here for a reason. I believe a bit of the reason is to throw little torches out to lead people through the dark. Thank you for that quote, Whoopi Goldberg. Julie was wearing some boots. They destroyed her knees for her workout. Hot toddy with a little extra honey, says Charlie. Yeah, I might make a hot toddy after this. I gotta get some more honey, actually. I'm running out of honey. Bug update. So, Elmira, our tailed whip scorpion, who lives right here. Earlier today, I managed to pull her tank out, her vivarium out off that table, to be able to get a look underneath where I know her burrow is, where she's been hibernating, and it looked like she had moved a little bit. Now, she's done that before when I've checked on her. I've been checking on her about once a month ever since she went into hibernation a few months ago. So she's hunkered down in there, but hopefully her reemergence is going to be soon. It's getting warmer. I haven't been having to put I haven't been having to run the heater as much. It's very tropical in her tank, so hopefully she's going to wake up soon, and I'll be able to get some more new photos of her. And y'all can keep an eye out for her a little bit. She tends to roam quite a bit when she's out, so it might happen that you'd see her towards this corner eventually on future episodes where she comes out. Sue is just hunkered down in his own burrow, refusing anything but food. And even then, he's really stuck in. So I think he's just going through the motions of scorpion motions. It could be something akin to hibernation for him, but we'll see what happens as things warm up. Ripley is scuttling around like normal, and keep an eye out. Soon we're going to transfer Ripley into a brand new vivarium that's going to be about the size of Mantis McLeod's vivarium. It's actually another one of Mantis McLeod's vivariums. I'm just waiting for some parts to come in. I have the tank. It's actually sitting right behind me. I have the tank all cleaned up. I have some cork bark from a friend. So we're going to make a brand new home for her, but it's just going to take me a little bit longer to get those parts in. And lastly, Mantis McLeod appears to be entering pre-molt, which is basically the stage when a bug will start to inflate itself a little bit and will start to stretch a lot because it is separating its exoskeleton inside from the old one. And there's a way that mantises do it that I've seen 100 times now, so I think he's going to be in his adult stage soon. So keep an eye out on our Instagram for more photos of him. And good luck to Mantis McLeod. Yathena recommends going to Wells Orchards to get honey. It's super local, and so it has local pollen, which can help with allergies. Yathena, that's awesome. Thank you for that insight. All right, let's get into our good news. Our broadcast is broken up into 4 major categories, and those categories are science and technology, health and medicine, flora and fauna, aka plants and animals, and wholesome notes, those really nice articles that get to our hearts. And I hope you all are ready for those, because we got some bangers. But let's start off in category 1, science and technology. And we called this first one, do you know the biggest tire manufacturer in the world? I sure as hell didn't. And it might surprise you. Let me pull up my articles. And I'm going to copy and paste this into the chat if y'all want to read along. Oh, Christian. Christian in the chat. He called it. It's not Nestle. Lego is the biggest and smallest tire manufacturer in the world. So now it's making its tires more earth-friendly. A little bit of surprise in the chat from that one. This was posted to the Autopian. It was written on March 12th of 2025 by Thomas Hundle. If you were to guess what brand is the world's largest tire manufacturer, what's your call? Does French giant Michelin have the global recognition to come out on top? Does the sheer brand spread of Goodyear put it in the lead? How about Continental? Actually, it's none of those. The world's largest tire manufacturer is Lego. Yup, the toy company. In a way, it's also the smallest maker of tires, or at least the maker of the smallest tires. Alright, so the tiny rubber tires on cars made of little bricks aren't known for the same performance as, say, the Michelin Pilot Sport Cup 2R or the Pirelli P0 Trofeo RS. But Lego makes more than 300 million tires per year. That's about 50% more than Michelin's annual production. And with new kits being rolled out all the time, Lego doesn't seem to be giving up the crown anytime soon. However, that doesn't mean it's not time for change, and the Lego tires of the future are going to be a bit kinder to the earth than the Lego tires of the past. A few weeks ago, the company announced tires made with at least 30% recycled content, mostly old fishing nets, ropes, and engine oil. If we're getting technical, it's a recycled styrene ethylene butylene styrene blend, a type of thermoplastic elastomer. Now earlier, I think it was last year, or it might have been earlier this year, we had an article where Lego was introducing new recycled product into their line to help with the manufacturing of every type of Lego brick. And instead of passing that cost on to consumers, they were eating the cost of that change. Right now, utilizing recycled product comes with a higher price point, but amazing companies like Lego have taken it upon themselves to say, we don't need to have more profit, we just need to maintain. So they're eating those costs of that recycled material, and they're not putting it on their consumers, which is amazing. While this isn't the same as using 100% recycled materials, turning old trash into new solid tire compounds makes a ton of sense. Especially given how Lego tires aren't exactly subject to high forces. Sure, those Scale Technics models look really cool, but I'm doubtful they'll experience, say, the corkscrew at Laguna Seca. Interestingly enough, companies that make tires for full-size cars are also on the recycling train. Continental uses recycled polyethylene terephthalate to make the polyester fabric used for tire carcasses, currently using up to 15 bottles per tire. Sure, this isn't the same as using sea trash to make tire compounds, but if recycled materials are good enough for 300 treadwear summer tires, they're probably good enough for the toys on your mantle, right? So how will you be able to tell Lego's partially recycled tires from its old ones? Well, that's the trick. You won't. The first styles of these tires are already being used in multiple Lego sets, and the company claims that more than 120 sets will use the new tire tech by the end of the year. Admittedly, it's been a while since I last picked up a Lego set. I used to have a ton of fun playing with bricks as a kid, and although changing to partially recycled tires probably wouldn't make it more likely that I buy some bricks, it certainly doesn't hurt. No matter which side of the fence you're on, times like the here and now could use a little extra whimsy. If that whimsy's partially recycled, well, that's kind of nice, isn't it? That is really cool. Yep, Julie loves Legos. They do a ton of Formula One sets. That is awesome. To Lego for once again incorporating recycled material into your products, especially all of the tires you produce because you beat everyone else in tire production. Cheers. Ooh. So that's going to get us out of science and technology. We're going to move on to category 2, health and medicine. And this one comes from Kendra. Kendra, thank you very much for sending this in. It is a cancer, fuck cancer article. I will copy and paste this into the chat if y'all want to read along. Charlie wants to play with Legos now. Yathena, that's me! Yes. Kendra, who sent in this article, is Yathena in our chat. New cancer therapy disguises tumors as pork to trigger an immune attack, and it's 90% effective. This article is from Interesting Engineering. It was written on March 17th of 2025 by Maria Mosserino. In a groundbreaking moment for cancer, Chinese researchers turned the immune response provoked by organ transplants to fight the leading cause of death worldwide. According to Columbia University's Department of Surgery, 10 to 20% of patients who undergo transplant surgery will experience at least one rejection. However, researchers in China ingeniously turned that negative into a positive by directing that powerful impulse to attack cancer cells. Called a tumor-to-pork strategy, a new study published in Cell earlier this year demonstrated immense success in engineering a virus that tricked the human body into believing that cancer cells were pig tissue, according to the South China Morning Post, thereby triggering a hyperacute inflammatory response. The virus began attacking the tumor with a staggering 90% success rate, to the point of curing a patient with advanced cervical cancer. Christian in the chat, that's pretty much transmutation. That's awesome. A new and completely genius pathway opened up in the world's pursuit of a cancer cure. Researchers noted, however, that further investigations are necessary as cancers are notoriously clever diseases. Nevertheless, one mechanism could be manipulated to attack a disease with the same fervor as a totally foreign agent, such as pig genes. Professor Zhao Yongzhang, director of the State Key Laboratory of Targeting Oncology at Guangxi Medical University, led the inspiring study. In an act of brilliant trickery, he investigated the immune response to transplant failure and engineered a virus that would hopefully provoke the body to kill cancer cells. Taking a relatively benign virus, Newcastle disease virus, or NDV, which causes little harm to humans, he and his team injected a pig gene to create a mutated new NDVGT virus, as per South China Morning Post. Infecting cancerous cells with this virus, the pig gene effectively alerted the body to a foreign entity that inspires total rejection, so they pulverized the cancer cell by disguising it. Cancer might be clever, but Zhao strategized a special cloak that made the human body respond differently and more aggressively. First, they conducted a series of animal studies, including monkeys. The results allowed them to move to human trials. Miraculously, even if further work could be conducted on the new approach, the human patients made incredible strides in healing. They onboarded 23 patients with various untreatable cancers, liver, ovarian, cervical, lung, etc., and administered weekly intravenous and intraperitoneal infusions for 8 to 12 weeks, as per the study in Cell. South China Morning Post continued that the patients experienced a range of stunning results: partial remission, clinically viable cure, and halted tumor growth. Statistically, the clinical trials showed a 90% success rate with few negative effects. As Zhao concluded, the clinical trials are entering phases 2 and 3, which would move the treatment into the later stages of testing that aim to evaluate its potential and safety profile. We could be at the threshold of actually being able to defeat cancer, and it was born from an idea to direct a powerful response towards an unbeatable enemy. That is friggin' awesome. To everybody involved, to Professor Zhao Yongzhang, and everybody at the State Key Laboratory of Targeting Oncology at Guangxi Medical University, and to Kendra for sending in this article. Cheers. There really is just straight up transmutation. Oh, cancer? We're going to make you look like pig cells. That thing that the immune system of a human really doesn't want to see floating around inside. Get it? That is awesome. Oop, did I have these out of space? I did. Okay, there we go. That's going to get us out of health and medicine. We're going to move on to category 3, flora and fauna, aka plants and animals. We called this first one, golf courses suck anyway. And I will copy and paste this into the chat if y'all want to read along. It's not that I don't have respect for people who partake of the sport of golf. It's that golf courses themselves, in my opinion, are just eyesores, but I digress. Former golf courses are going wild. This was posted on Reasons to be Cheerful on March 18th of 2025 by Jennifer Cole. These days, when it rains heavily in the southeast Houston neighborhood of Clear Lake, I used to live in Houston, residents can rest easy, but that wasn't always the case. It used to be that when it rained, they'd haul out their mops and buckets. As the storm drains filled, water would routinely back up into basements, causing disastrous flooding. But when the golf course adjacent to residents' backyards closed in the early 2000s, it was the answer to their flooding woes. In 2005, the Clear Lake Water Authority bought the land with the intent of creating 5 massive detention ponds, each capable of holding 100 million gallons of stormwater, or the equivalent of 750 Olympic-sized swimming pools. It took approximately 6 years to complete the purchase and another 2 to gather community input. And although residents were happy to see their flooding problems vanish, they wanted more than just detention ponds. They wanted green space, walking trails, and a place for nature to flourish. It took a while, but at last, in the fall of 2023, the engineering and water retention part of the project was complete. And other than some ongoing planting of native plant species, Exploration Green is a reality. The former golf course is now part of a 200-acre nature reserve, with a centerpiece of 5 interconnected lakes attached to the area's stormwater infrastructure. That is awesome. Producer Donna said, bees over birdies. That's a good pun. And Yathena, the golf course that was on Lake Michigan, is being made into housing. Interesting. A bird habitat island on one of the artificial lakes provided a place for migrating birds to rest and feel protected from other predators. Walking trails circumnavigate the lakes, and over 1,000 native plants grow with abandon on what were once perfectly manicured fairways and putting greens. The reserve is a community gathering place, not just for recreation, but for education too. During Houston Bird Week in September, residents can register for guided bird walks to learn more about the many species that frequent the reserve. It is exactly what residents hoped for, including having dry homes. There was a golf course by my current home, and it got converted into a nature preserve. I love hiking through it. The deer are like fearless as ever, which is hilarious. Like, you'll just be walking along one of the trails and like 6 deer heads will pop up right next to you, like within rock throwing distance. And it's just like, oh, y'all don't care at all. Okay. And then you just go on your way and you get to see crazy cool nature and stuff. In 2017, Hurricane Harvey dumped approximately 50 inches of rain on the Houston area. The first lake was 90% complete when Harvey hit, explains David Sharp, chairman of the board of directors of the Exploration Green Conservancy, the nonprofit created to manage the site's ecological restoration and sustainability. There were 200 houses in the immediate area that would regularly get flooded with any kind of heavy rain. Not one house flooded, he recalls. Charlie says, I see you getting hustled by the deer for treats. Producer Donna, deer like apples. You're not allowed to feed them. That's the big thing with the deer in the city limits of the city I live in. Don't feed them. Folks still do, but I don't walk around with deer treats. I just admire them from afar and continue my hike. Exploration Green is not the only golf course that has seen a rewilding. As golf's popularity has waned in recent years, other courses have also been re-envisioned as places for people and nature to thrive. According to the National Golf Foundation, there were almost 4 million fewer golfers in 2024 than in 2003. The cost to operate a private golf club can be as much as $1 million annually, and with fewer golfers hitting the links, owners are not able to meet operating budgets, and courses have been sold. In 2022 alone, more than 100 golf courses shuttered across the U.S., leaving many acres of unused land ripe for reimagining. Couple this with the 2023 study, which found that 97% of all metropolitan areas in the United States have insufficient open space, and unused golf courses become an invaluable resource. Charlie said, aw, but why friend-shaped if not friend? It's not that the deer aren't friends, it's that I don't want to friend them. Mona in the chat, what I loved where I grew up was the deer at Shasta Dam. They knew how to use the water fountains and could get a postcard with them doing just that. Or you could get a postcard with them doing that? Oh, that's awesome! That is really cool, Mona. I really want that postcard. Those are some smart deer. The benefits of preserving open spaces, as the authors of the report note, are numerous. They provide opportunities for people to experience nature, socialize, and participate in healthy recreational activities, something the residents of the municipalities of Churchill and Penn Hills outside of Pittsburgh are passionate about. When the Churchill Valley Golf Club closed in 2013, it was bought by a private developer, says Lindsay Dill, Senior Director of Marketing and Community Engagement for Allegheny Land Trust, or the ALT. When the people in the surrounding community heard of the proposals for a sprawling housing development or an industrial park, they weren't on board. Since the course was abandoned, they'd been using the golf cart paths to take families on walks, Dill says. The area had become an extension of their backyards. ALT bought the land in 2021 and immediately began rewilding efforts. Because the land had been unused for nearly a decade before ALT's purchase, much of it had begun to rewild on its own, including the rapid spread of invasive plant species. ALT volunteers removed unwanted plants and replaced them with over 1,000 native plants and trees. The remediated landscape of these reclaimed golf courses is a stark juxtaposition to the man-made efforts once used to keep them pristine. In 2006, just as golf's popularity was beginning to wane, a report by the Golf Course Superintendents Association of America found that 101,096 tons of nitrogen were applied to an estimated 1,311,000 acres of golf courses throughout the U.S. That's the equivalent of 154 pounds of nitrogen per acre. Nitrogen fertilizers exude nitrous oxide, a greenhouse gas contributing to climate change. Returning a golf course to a natural space, though, can be pricey. Surrounding the renamed Churchill Valley Greenway are numerous abandoned coal mines that discharge a form of water pollution known as abandoned mine drainage. This water, full of heavy metals, seeps into the ground, impacting the growth of aquatic plants and harming wildlife. A multi-million-dollar filtration system to remove AMD contaminated water will need to be installed at the Churchill Valley Greenway as part of the restoration process. Charlie says those friends tend to be yummy too, with regard to the deer. And Julie has deer there all the time. I'm not surprised, Julie. You've got a lot of forest around you. And you do too, Charlie. In Akron, Ohio, it cost $3 million to purchase Valley View Golf Club and more to ecologically restore its 200 acres. When the owner of the golf course retired, Summit Metro Parks, the second oldest park district in Ohio, grabbed the opportunity, and in 2016, they purchased the land. We've had our eye on the property for over 100 years, says Mike Johnson, Chief of Conservation for Summit Metro Parks. The final jewel in the park system crown, the addition of this area creates a continuous line of over 1,800 acres of green space in Summit County. Serious about doing the job right, Summit Metro Parks bulldozed and stripped the land bare. 300 Norway spruce trees, an evergreen species non-native to North America, were uprooted. Drain tiles used to hold back water and dredge wetlands were uncovered and removed. Within months, the water flowed freely. Fairways were planted with native meadow mixes. Now, wild Columbine and lupines intermingle with an array of over 120,000 newly planted native nut trees, including walnut, hickory, and buckeye. Was there opposition to rewilding these courses? We held public meetings and invited the public in to talk about what they wanted. Nobody suggested housing, but there were a couple of people who wished we'd keep it as a golf course, Johnson admits. Mostly my dad, he jokes. The waning popularity of golf has made it easy to get a tee time at Valley View, something Johnson's father appreciated. Through public presentations and direct outreach, ALT was also able to demonstrate to local officials how cost-effective conserving the land was. By putting a housing plan on the site, it would create a need for more public amenities such as sewer and roads. We were able to show the benefits of keeping the land natural compared to the cost of development, says Dill. Around the world, the crack of the 5-iron is quieting. In Britain, Pewitt Golf Course in Ilkeston, Derbyshire, closed in 2022 due to operating losses. A public consultation reported that 9 in 10 residents supported the idea of the land becoming a nature reserve. In Victoria, Canada, the fairways at the once popular Prospect Point Golf Course are no longer mowed to within half an inch of their life. Instead, knee-deep meadows of native wildflowers flourish. The nonprofit group Power to Be works to make nature available to anyone regardless of physical impairment, and in 2018 was gifted a 30-year lease for $1 a year to use the site for its programs. The key thing for our population is accessibility. Having the golf course footprint was critical for us, says Jason Cole, co-chief executive officer of Power to Be. The level ground quintessential to the golf course makes it easy for wheelchair users and others with mobility issues to access and enjoy nature. In 2023, the organization hosted almost 2,500 people with accessibility needs at the refurbished Prospect Lake site. How do golfers feel about these transformations? Sharp took his reticent father on a golf course tour of the rewilded Valley View Golf Club and is happy to report he likes it. That is really cool. To all of these conservancies and different companies that are buying these defunct or going out of business golf course lands and converting them into rewilded lands, complete with trails and native life. Cheers. That was a long article. Holy crap. All right. Whew. Thank you all for sticking with us through that one. Our next one is a heckin' good boy article, and I'm going to copy and paste this into the chat if you all want to read along. Playing with dogs relieves stress in humans and canines alike, study shows. This was posted to Phys.org. It was posted on March 14th of 2025 by Dennis Thompson. Playing with a dog for just 15 minutes can significantly reduce a person's stress, a new study reports. Stressed students who interacted with a friendly dog reported less stress, had a reduced heart rate, and had lower levels of stress hormone cortisol in their saliva, researchers said in the journal PLOS One. The experience also appears to be beneficial for dogs, researchers added. Fecal tests showed that canine cortisol levels were lower a week after hanging out with a human. Even brief interactions with dogs can significantly reduce stress levels among university undergraduate students, concluded the research team led by senior investigator Jarwan Konmi with Chiang Mai University in Thailand. For the study, researchers recruited 6 friendly dogs, 3 to 6 years old, to interact with college students. They included 5 Chihuahuas raised by veterinarians and a Shetland sheepdog raised by a psychologist. None of the dogs were certified for therapy work, researchers noted. This was the first time they'd participated in any sort of canine-assisted intervention, and they participated without the presence of their owner. In the main library of Chiang Mai University, 122 students completed a stress assessment questionnaire, had their blood pressure and pulse taken, and provided a saliva sample for cortisol testing. They were then given 15 minutes to play with a dog after being told the pooch's name, personality traits, and preferred interactions. And I wish that they'd do this in the States. I want to be a part of this study. I get to play with a dog for 15 minutes? Yes, please. This is awesome. The students could do whatever they wanted. Look at the dog, pet it, give it treats, hug it, or play with it. Afterward, they went through another round of tests to assess their stress levels. The dogs provided fecal and saliva samples before and after their time with students to see whether the play benefited them as well. Students showed self-reported physical improvements in stress following their 15 minutes with a dog, the results show. Compared to immediately before, students' self-reported stress levels decreased by 33.5% after interacting with the dog, researchers reported. The students also had improvements in their pulse rate and cortisol levels, researchers noted. There were no changes in salivary cortisol in the dogs on the day of play, but their fecal cortisol levels were lower a week after they spent time with the students, researchers said. Overall, these findings contribute to our understanding of the beneficial impact of human-dog interactions on human stress levels and highlight the importance of addressing stress in both humans and animals during targeted interventions, researchers concluded. In contexts where certified dogs and handlers are not readily available, non-certified dogs could still offer mental health benefits, the team added. No crap, like that's a given. If I could just like pet a dog on like Wednesday right in the middle of the week, I would probably be a nicer person at work. I don't know. That's really cool. To everybody involved in this study at the Chiang Mai University in Thailand, certified dog moment from Christian. Cheers. That is so cool. All right, so that's going to get us out of flora and fauna. We're going to move on to our final category, category 4, the wholesome notes. And I hope you're ready for these. This first one is an I'm not crying, you're crying article. And I will copy and paste this into the chat if y'all want to read along. Anonymous couple gifts car to Purple Heart veteran in need. This was posted to Sunny Skies News on March 20th, 2025. But I don't see a listed author, so I am going to guess that it was simply posted by Sunny Skies. A generous couple recently made a life-changing difference for a veteran in need by donating a car through the nonprofit organization Love Our Heroes, Inc. After reaching out to the group to see if they accepted vehicle donations, the couple, who wished to remain anonymous, offered their 2010 Cadillac to help a deserving veteran. Love Our Heroes, Inc. found the perfect recipient, Brian Stewart, commander of Lodi American Legion Post 523. Stewart, 53, from Seville, served 6 years as a combat Marine before continuing his service in the U.S. Army for another 22 years. Throughout his military career, he completed 5 deployments, 3 of which were in combat zones. During his service in Iraq in 2004, Stewart was injured by shrapnel when an IED exploded, earning him a Purple Heart. Known for his generosity, Stewart regularly supports both veterans and civilians in need. His Legion post helps fund a local restaurant that provides free meals and has even purchased a car and washing machine for struggling community members. The couple's donation of the pristine Cadillac left Stewart deeply moved. As he prepared to drive the vehicle home, he was overwhelmed with gratitude, barely able to find the words. The Mansfield Journal describes him as almost speechless. The heartwarming donation serves as a reminder of the power of kindness and the impact a single act of generosity can have on someone who has given so much. To Love Our Heroes and to the anonymous individuals who donated a car to Purple Heart veteran Brian Stewart. And Brian Stewart, thank you for your service. Cheers. This next one is a Not All Heroes Wear Capes article, and I will copy and paste this into the chat if y'all want to read along. Oh, there it is. Having this new expanded view with just running YouTube is fantastic. It's unbelievable. Teen goes from homeless to community hero. This too was posted on Sunny Skies on March 20th of 2025. A New Haven teenager who once experienced homelessness is being celebrated for his compassion and generosity. On Wednesday, members of the city's Board of Alders presented Keontre Floyd with an official citation for his heartfelt toy donation to the homeless shelter New Reach. I want to thank God for keeping me on track and keeping my eyes on the prize, Floyd said during the ceremony. Having endured homelessness for 8 years as a child, Floyd felt driven to give back during the holiday season. He donated $2,000 worth of toys to New Reach, the same shelter that once supported his mother and younger siblings. I felt like I did my younger self a favor to go get those kids Christmas gifts, something my younger self would have wanted, Floyd shared. As I did that, I was closing a chapter in my life. Floyd's parents were also present to share their pride and gratitude. His father, Tyrese Brown, reflected on how meaningful it was to witness his son's generosity. I made a prayer a long time ago that if I had one more chance in life to correct my wrongs, this is right here. This is him, Brown said, pointing at his son. To Keontre Floyd, for donating $2,000 worth of toys for Christmas to the same organization that helped him when his family was in need. Not all heroes wear capes. Cheers. And our last article we're calling Paying It Forward. And I will copy and paste this into the chat if y'all want to read along. I thought I heard Sue. Fearing her students were glued to screens, she gave each $20 with one request. And this one was also posted to Sunny Skies on March 18th of 2025. At Hatboro Horsham High School in Pennsylvania, English teacher Christina Ulmer is proving that even a small gesture can create a big impact. Each semester, she gives her students $20 with a heartfelt request. Use it to do something kind. The challenge began in 2018, inspired by a personal tragedy. Ulmer lost her sister, Katie, in a car accident. When a police officer returned her sister's purse, it contained over $100 in tips she had earned that morning. Ulmer immediately knew the money had to be used for good. Katie was always doing something to help people, Ulmer said, so I knew the money had to be used for good. That same year, while teaching Ray Bradbury's Fahrenheit 451, a 1953 novel depicting a screen-obsessed, disconnected future society, Ulmer had an idea. It's set in a time when everyone is glued to their screens and society lacks empathy, she said. Sounds familiar, doesn't it? She told her students that the way to prevent our world from becoming Fahrenheit 451 is through kindness and connection. She gave each student $20, adding her own funds, and asked them to perform a random act of kindness in Katie's honor. The project became known as the $20 Challenge. The challenge quickly gained momentum. Students embraced the opportunity, using their $20 to help the homeless, support animal shelters, and even surprise veterans with gifts. One group of girls created a basket of treats for an orphanage. One story that stood out to Ulmer involved a student visiting family while in the Midwest. She spent her $20 on donuts, then stood on a street corner with her uncle, handing them out to strangers. The experience touched her so deeply that she now continues the tradition every year. The impact of the challenge didn't stop there. After that first semester, donations from the community poured in, enabling Ulmer to continue the tradition year after year. As of this past fall, her students have completed over 350 acts of kindness in her sister's memory. The real reward, according to Ulmer, is seeing how much her students learn from the experience. Their testimonies reflect the lasting impact. We learned that small acts of kindness like this can make someone's day. I realized how much something as small as $20 can do to help someone. It really takes so little to make someone's day. Being kind is basically free. Through her sister's legacy, Ulmer is teaching her students a powerful lesson. It doesn't take much to brighten someone's day. Just a little kindness and a willing heart. To Pennsylvania English teacher Christina Ulmer and to all of her students that have performed over 350 acts of kindness, cheers. Wow. So that's about it for our broadcast for tonight. I thank you all so much for tuning in or catching the replay on the Nick's News Facebook page or the YouTube page. We're still going to post these to the Facebook page. It's now kind of going to be the reverse, where we would be posting them just to the YouTube page later, but we're going to post them to the Facebook page if we're able. We got to test it out. Again, we're live every Sunday, and our next episode is going to be on March 30th, 2025. I encourage participation, so if you feel inclined, please by all means, you can post suggestions for news brews, shout-outs, news quotes, and of course, good articles that we can present on future episodes. If you do send in a bunch of articles, I do ask that you spread them out across our 4 major categories, and those categories, again, are science and technology, health and medicine, flora and fauna, aka plants and animals, and wholesome notes, the really nice articles that we like to end on. You can message us on Facebook or Instagram, or you can email us at somebudgetstudios@gmail.com. Links are in the descriptions for our videos and our page. Feel free to like, subscribe, comment on our Facebook and YouTube videos to get good news and joy out into the algorithm. I'll never tell you what to do, but I can't thank you all enough for continuing to help Nick's News grow and spread good news. This has been a fantastic experience, and we've grown so much this year, and we are continuing to grow by the week, and I can't thank you all enough so much. So if you feel inclined to spread good news and joy, like, subscribe, comment, and share. I appreciate every single one of you for it so much. As always, thank you again. I love you all. Have a great night, and I will play us out.